10 o'clock here in the central region. And so we're going to go ahead and get started because we have a couple of fabulous tour sites for you today. So let me just open by saying welcome to our second Tennessee Extension Master Gardener Friday Focus of 2021. And we're excited about being live in Huntsville, Alabama and Nashville, Tennessee today. So you can see the beautiful Cheekwood sky behind me. We are really excited about some of the great service and horticulture education that we have coming for you today. Before we get started with our guests, I just want to share with you a few updates and information about our Master Gardener program for this year to get you all updated on everything that's going on. So, of course, as you know, we had a great Florida and Tennessee visit in January. We are excited today about bringing in some Alabama Master Gardener and Extension friends, as well as right here in Nashville, Tennessee. When we come back in July for our next Friday Focus, we'll actually be talking about some cut flower service projects, as well as bringing in some Texas Master Gardeners. So we're going to continue this cross-state fun. For September, we already have Ohio Master Gardeners and some Extension friends on board, as well as the Wilson County group in Lebanon, and we're going to be talking about arboretums. And then we're going to finish our Friday Focus season with a November session that's going to focus on some Christmas trees and poinsettias, some of the fun plants of the season. And of course, we'll be getting you more details as we roll along with some of this content. We're also excited that for the entire month of May, we're going to be focused on Master Gardeners. So we're going to call it Hit the Trails May month. And we know, of course, that it has been just at a year of this pandemic and all of our in-person disruptions. And we're excited that this spring gives us the opportunity to do some get outside, get back in touch with nature. And that's really going to be the point of our May month. Celeste and Evangeline, some of our Master Gardener work group crew, are putting together this cool slate of challenge activities for everybody to participate in. All Master Gardeners all across the state, both interns as well as our experienced folks. And they're going to be focused on getting out, visiting state parks, connecting with nature and ecology in our specific regional areas. And then each Friday in May, we're going to have a little bit of a shorter Friday focus. They're probably only going to be about a half an hour, but we're going to focus on different state parks. We're going to visit with rangers. We're going to be there on site for a live session from West Tennessee all the way to East Tennessee. And of course, we are excited that as 2021 progresses, the conditions are improving in the state of Tennessee, and we're going to be able to safely plan a little bit more in-person events. And so, as you may hopefully already know, on our odd years, we do regional conferences. And so we have been configuring and reconfiguring and coming up with some great options for you all for regional conferences 2021. And so on June the 24th, we're going to have our Central Region Conference that's hosted by Warren County Master Gardeners. And we're doing a little bit of a hybrid approach because by the time we get to June, we want to make sure that we're having some safe but appropriate types of activities. And so we're going to do a distance morning. It's all going to be focused on ornamental horticulture. We're going to have some of our great faculty members as well as the Sustainable Landscapes work group talking about smart yards and the great opportunities that Master Gardeners have to engage in environmental stewardship teaching in our area. So that's going to be from 8 to 11 in the morning. We're going to take a couple-hour break, allow people to drive, and then we're going to have live outdoor tours, some of the great nursery and fruit operations in Warren County. And so we're going to, make it appropriately safe and distance and those types of protocols. A lot of those tours are going to give you the opportunity to drive yourself so that we don't have to deal with potential hazards of seating arrangements on buses. And we are really excited to celebrate horticulture and visit with each other when we get to June. By September, we are going to be going into our Western Region Master Gardener Conference that is hosted by Montgomery County. And we're going to be right here at this site. So that is Freedom Point, which is at Liberty Park in Clarksville, Tennessee. And I'm kind of loosely, this is not an official name or anything, but calling this kind of our Parks and Prairies Conference. And so we are going to be at this great park that is also an arboretum. So it gives Carla, the agent there in Montgomery County, who's also a pretty good tree person, the opportunity to bring in some of those tree topics here at the Arboretum. But if you may already know, but Clarksville actually in that vicinity is the site of a lot of native southeastern grassland prairies. And so we're going to team up with the Southeastern Grasslands Initiative for some tours and for some sessions that really uniquely highlight the ecology and some of those environmental aspects of the area. So that's going to be Friday evening at the park, a little bit of low-key food and fellowship, and then a Saturday conference where you'll have the choice of a morning or an afternoon tour, as well as all sorts of sessions there at the park. For our third and final regional conference of the year, this was originally scheduled for May, but we bumped it back to September to make sure that we could follow appropriate protocol and have the best event possible for y'all. And so this is hosted by Fentress County. We're still working on all the details, but this is going to be a fun horticulture focused, largely tour based conference. And so we have large greenhouse producers. Of course, by the time we get into the fall, we're going to be in poinsettia season. There are herb producers that we're going to get to go see, vineyards, and a whole suite of great horticulture for you. And that will finish out kind of our conference year. And so that's a little bit of a highlight of what's coming. But now let's get back to what's coming today. So we are live here at Cheekwood Botanic Gardens. This is a little bit of a fall shot at Cheekwood. You're going to see some beautiful spring in our session today. We're actually going to come back to Nashville as our second scenic tour of the day. But first, we are going to be live in Huntsville, Alabama. And so in Huntsville, they have the Huntsville Botanic Garden, and not only, of course, a lot of great ornamentals, but it is the site of the Grow More, Give More Garden. And we have our very own Taylor Reeder, who is a Williamson County horticulture agent and master gardener coordinator, along with one of her former colleagues when she worked in Alabama Extension, Rhonda Britton. And they are live in Huntsville, along with some master gardener friends, and they're going to give us a great look at this food and produce donation garden and some of the activities and training, education, and engagement that takes place there with master gardeners. And so even though she is based out of Franklin, Taylor is actually live in Huntsville today. So that is going the extra mile, traveling herself to the site of our host today. And we're really excited to connect with them. And so without further ado, I'm going to give the proverbial microphone over to Taylor and let her take it away with the tour from Huntsville.
The garden here and what they do, and also show us in person some of the things that they're doing here at the gardens. Susan?
Hello, welcome to Huntsville, Alabama. This is the demonstration vegetable garden, or we refer to it as the DVG, at the Huntsville Botanical Gardens. So the master gardeners started this garden in 1993, and they have been maintaining this garden all these years. So let me walk you through some of the crops we have. This is our fall bed of mustard. We're going to use the mustard until it ends because it does have some weed suppressant properties. Also, first we'll harvest. Notice the term of last week was bolting. Our mustard over there has bolted. This is Florida broadleaf right here. Let's move on. You'll see this is our team here. We have about 10 members.
And they got QR codes and everything to help educate people.
Okay, then over on this side we planted some broccoli.
And they've got great signage here, and I'm going to see if we can see it. For each of the beds, it tells exactly, and you can tell them what are these for?
Okay, first we have the crop, what type of crop it is, if it's a leafy or a root or whatever. In this case, it's leafy, and what family, and it's from the brassica family. We have the description of the broccoli. And one thing we're looking at this year is the soil temperature. And these were planted on the day when it's 52 degrees with an average of 61 degrees. We're also looking at our rotation cycles of each of these beds.
Wonderful. And this demonstration garden is open to anybody who comes into the Huntsville Botanical Gardens. They can walk through. They're not allowed to pick, but they can walk through and learn about different gardening techniques. Oh, and someone asked if they were waterproof signs, and we've just talked about that. They are going to make them more permanent. They put those out here this year, but they're going to make them more permanent.
Right here we have our herb bed, mainly culinary herbs. This past year we had one okra plant in here. We pulled up the okra plant it had little nodules on it, and that is root knot nematode. That's one of the best indicators is an okra plant is highly susceptible. So we're going to remove this whenever it gets hot. We're going to solarize this bed, and then we'll plant marigolds in it, which is also known to suppress nematodes.
Wonderful.
Okay. Then we're going to move over here to some of our other raised beds. We have several kinds of raised beds out of different materials. We have our garden pea. This is the Wando. We have a snow pea here on a trellis. Then over here we have a root bed. Notice we're doing this rotation. This is all roots right here. And on this rotation cycle, right now we in the spring was radishes. Then these are the radishes. Last fall we solarized this bed, and this past summer before we solarized, we had tomatoes.
So going through all the different plant families and rotating your crops.
We're doing legumes, going to leafy, then to fruit and root.
Oh, they want to describe the watering system. So that was something I commented on when I came in. And Susan said it was in here before she got here. But what they've got basically is when they built the beds, they've taken PVC pipe and put a little hole in the ground. And they have micro spaghetti tubes with micro irrigation emitters. And so when they plant, they can pull them back, put them in this hole to keep them safe. And when they need them, they just take them out and set them in. I thought that was ingenious.
Right over here we have our square foot garden. And of course it changes with the season. Last year we had a huge Mexican sunflower in the middle because you need to have your pollinators in the garden. Over here is Brussels sprouts, and this is one of those demonstrations that didn't go quite well. As you know, our word of the week was bolting, and these are going to seed. We did have a demo of let's cut the lower leaves and see if that would promote the sprouts. But we had 2 days of 70-degree weather, and of course, then they sprouted. They bolted.
Yep, that warm weather did you.
Mm-hmm. This next bed over here we got onions, and then we have interplanted with a companion plant of carrots. Of course, onions were planted last fall.
Okay, so that's a companion planting example.
All right. We have a hanging garden over here that we had the apple gourds on. This bed lay fallow all this last year. We're going to be double digging it and then amending it. This bed over here, last summer we had cowpeas, including the black eye. And then this fall we planted the daikon radish. There's a very bad harpan, and the daikons will go down past that harpan, pull up nutrients. The daikon radish will rot, water and nutrients will go down. So we are improving the soil here.
Wonderful. I know you did some cover cropping as well.
Yeah, over here we have clover. We just cut it this last week. We will be turning it under. This here we have kale. We've interplanted with spinach, another cool season crop.
We got a master gardener hard at work weeding. That's what most gardening is weeding. Getting that hen bit out, Mr. Dave. Not master gardener, master weeder.
Okay. We had a straw bale gardening here demonstration, and we will be doing that again because it was very successful.
Wonderful.
A lot of people are trying straw bale gardening.
Yes, I've never tried it myself, but I hear all the wonderful things about it.
Just walk back over here to our hugelkultur garden.
Yes, hugelkultur, something I hadn't heard about until today.
So we started with a rotten log, and then we put in layers of straw, soil, leaves. And to keep the weeds down, we lay down cardboard and put down the pine bark mulch. So we will start planting in this year.
Okay. And she had said it's hard to keep the weeds out of this bed because a lot of the drainage runs downhill into here. So it's a lot. But they've done a great job of keeping it clean.
Let's walk over here to the keyhole garden.
Oh, and you've got a great sign about what is a keyhole garden.
We have a bin that we put in compost, green and brown. And then, of course, we have the crops around, and slowly the soil is building up.
Yeah. And again, they've got some great signage that tells people, because if you didn't know what keyhole gardening was, it would be a little confusing. But signage is very important when you've got the public walking in and out, and there's not always a master gardener here to tell them what's going on. Got some rain barrels back there. I'm sure Rhonda had something to do with that.
Well, I'll tell you about it.
You want to tell them about the rain barrels?
Yeah, this little building here is like 13 feet long by 9 feet. So with 1 inch of rain, we can fill up 1 barrel on this building alone. So that's about 60 gallons of water. Then on the other side, there's another barrel. So we've got enough to catch 2 inches of rain in a rain event. So it works really good. So
And we had probably 2 inches close to last night.
we had an inch, a little bit, 1.5 inches, I believe, at my house.
So those barrels are full, ready to go.
We're ready to go.
And the next during back around this corridor, this area that you see there is our next project. We are going to put in a wheelchair accessible bed that is being made as we speak. So it's for demonstration mainly, but we will be planting it with appropriate crops.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay. Here we have our potatoes. And a few weeks before we planted these, the term was chitting. So we cut and cured the potatoes. And we used a guideline, the Southeastern book, vegetable crop book, as our guideline. And we followed that procedure in the book. And you see, we already have some potatoes sprouting.
Wonderful. And what do y'all do with all the produce that comes in this garden?
The produce. Well, for instance, this past week we picked collards, cabbage, kale, and we gather that, weigh it. Then we take it to the Rosa Sharon Soup Kitchen, or sometimes we may take it to CASA, and we donate the food.
So how many pounds did y'all donate last year?
Last year, remember, we did not get into the garden until May 28th. So we harvested 600 pounds. So far, year to date, we've harvested 57 pounds.
Wonderful. So average, you probably harvest anywhere from 800 to 1,000 pounds that gets donated to the community.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so it's not just demonstration. You're also giving back to the community with this garden as well.
That's correct.
That's wonderful. Anything else that you think is so exciting about this garden that you want them to know about?
Oh, yes, the fun we have. Yes.
Have a lot of fun?
We have a lot of fun. Of course, we have our tasks, but we do make sure that we share our knowledge with each of some. We have demonstrations. Each of our members may present something to the group. We have our word of the day. We have lots of laughs, and we all enjoy gardening.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Susan. So this is their demonstration garden, and it's within the Huntsville Botanical Gardens. So actually, we had some people just walk by that were interested in coming in, but then we probably scared them away with the video camera. But great place to learn and actually visually see gardening in practice, all these different techniques. So thank you, Susan. And I'm going to turn it over to Rhonda, and she's going to talk to y'all a little bit about the Grow More, Give More campaign that they're doing across the state of Alabama. So what is Grow More, Give More, Rhonda?
Well, Grow More, Give More was introduced by Bethany O'Rear. She's an agent in South Central Alabama. And she came up with this idea back during COVID. We had so many people calling about putting in gardens for the first time, and they had excess vegetables. They wanted to know what to do with them. So Bethany thought of this great idea of if you grow more, why don't you give more? So It's a campaign we've got. It's on our website at aces.edu, Grow More, Give More. And we've got a set of videos that we've done, just information galore on raised bed gardens, any kind of gardening, soil testing, weed control. Let's see, what else do we have? Drip irrigation. So there's just a plethora of information there. But it's just a way of giving back your harvest to people in your community.
So how do you have the community involved? Do you have garden centers that are involved?
Well, we have just homeowners. It's only for people that aren't growing or to sell to farmers.
For profit.
Or profit. Thank you. It's especially for people who, I know my in-laws, every year they have a plethora of food left over. So it's just a way to give back so that food doesn't rot.
Okay.
And a lot of people like fresh vegetables. So it's just a great campaign. So.
And like you said, a lot of people last year started gardening for the very first, didn't know what to do. And they may not have known who Extension was. And so that's part of it as well. You've got all those educational videos for first-time gardeners to really get them out and growing, and then eventually giving back what they grow.
Exactly. It's just a win-win for everyone. So.
And how are Master Gardeners involved in the program?
They can do their own produce in their garden also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's open to anyone that's not selling it for produce. And like I said, we've got the website where you can go in and log how many pounds that you've harvested and hand it out. So it's just, again, a really neat program.
Yeah, it's like with 2020, we all got together and wanted to do something good for each other. We were sitting at home and like, well, I can't get out and actually meet those demands, so I'll do it in my own garden and give back. So y'all should check out that website. It's on aces.edu, so aces.edu, and you can type in Grow More, Give More. And it's just really a statewide campaign to encourage new gardeners and also encourage veteran gardeners to give back that knowledge and that produce to help feed communities statewide. All right. Anything else you want to know, Susan? Yes.
We are the Master Gardeners of North Alabama, and we were the first Master Gardener organization in the state of Alabama. Here at the garden, we do have event days, and you mentioned the first-time gardeners, but that's who approaches us. And some people come in with their notebooks wanting to ask specific questions. So sometimes we'll have maybe 3 to 4 of those here at the garden a year. Also, we have a Facebook page called MGNA Happenings, where information about our garden and our other activities are posted.
Wonderful. So y'all can go to their MGNA, so Master Gardeners of North Alabama Facebook page, and see all the events they do. I know y'all talked about they've got some beautiful blueberries back here that are flowering, and they've done a pruning demonstration. They've also done a demonstration on that arbor back there, that's muscadine vines, of how to prune muscadines. So lots of great information for new and beginning gardeners of all types. Wonderful. All right. Thank y'all so much. It is beautiful out here. And look at all the weed-free beds. Let me tell you, if this was my garden, all we'd be growing would be weeds.
I've got another thing to add is Dr. Caulfield, who is with the University of Tennessee, she's the Dean of the School of Agronomy and Environmental Sciences, was key in getting Master Gardeners here in Madison County when she was at Alabama A&M. And she's my former boss.
So wonderful. So we've got connections across those state lines. So if you're ever this way, it's not that far across the state line. Come visit the botanical gardens here. They've got an azalea trail. We've got dogwood trails. We've got all kinds of great things. And you can come visit this garden in person and see all the neat things that they are doing and all the new things they're trying, because we never want to stay stagnant too long. We always want to be trying new, exciting things. All right.
Taylor, that's awesome. We actually have some questions to toss to you, and we've got a couple of minutes here, so your timing is perfect. So tell us, do you have any issues with voles in the demonstration vegetable garden there?
Voles and no problems. Look at that. It's like utopia here.
No.
Squirrels.
No voles.
Squirrels and rabbits. And we actually were looking, and some of the broccoli had been stolen already by some critter. So squirrels and rabbits, and y'all put this fence up to help kind of keep them out?
Yes, and birds and tomatoes.
Oh, yeah, and I was asking, they've got PVC pipe around, and I don't know if y'all can see, around their blueberries and that's to hang netting for the birds. So no problems with moles and voles, but with the other critters that are, especially
pretty
the
much
squirrels,
every other sort of
of
wildlife you have, huh?
yeah, deer and all that.
Some good discussion about the solarization. And of course, across the state of Tennessee, we have a wide range of temperature and it works better for some of us than others. But tell us, how long do you typically solarize for down in Huntsville?
I'm going to say about 3 months.
Okay, so y'all start usually
when it gets hot, like in the 80s.
When it gets about in the 80s and you go through and for about 3 months and leave that plastic on.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough time to get that fall crop in.
Yeah. So in essence, you can grow a spring crop, and then you always want that solarization, which is clear plastic, kind of like greenhouse plastic, on your beds during the hottest time of year. We get that temperature up in that first couple 2 to 4 inches, and it can be a great way to reduce not only weed pressure, but some of the diseases.
Yeah. Oh, and she said it does need to be damp under there.
Yep. Moisture.
So making sure that the garden bed is damp.
What is the border material of your raised bed? Are those cross ties or?
It's okay. I'll try to get a close. It's composite plastic.
Those were donated.
They were donated to the garden.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, they've got that. They've got pressure treated wood on some beds. They've got some tin, and then they've got a brick bed, a concrete block bed. So they've got a little bit of everything.
We also have composting bins on site as well. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all heard that, but they've got compost on site as well.
Yeah, excellent. And we talked a little bit about the irrigation, but we have irrigation question about the blueberries. Do you do the same irrigation system that you showed us in the raised bed on your perennial or your fruiting crops?
Well, let's just wander on back here and see.
All right, perfect.
I think it's in ground. Let's see. Yes, it's an in-ground system. So it's not the exact same system. They've got in-ground on risers. You can kind of see right there the irrigation. So they are under irrigation, under micro irrigation. And there's the beautiful blooms. Hopefully we don't have another frost.
Yeah, what cultivars of blueberries are you guys growing?
Do you know what cultivars they are?
Yes, we have Brightwell, Baldwin, Tiff Blue, Climax, Powder Blue.
Okay, so a lot of your rabbit eyes.
Yeah. All rabbit eyes, it sounds like. And a lot of those we grow in Tennessee. Some of those might be a little bit lower chilling hours, but hey, Tiff Blue, one of our favorites too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, we got a question here about cardboard and weed control. Do you use any cardboard for weed prevention, or mostly just the mulch? And
no, that's the main reason we use it is for weed prevention.
Yeah.
So yes, they use a lot of cardboard, and actually there's some peeking through in some of these beds, but they do cardboard and mulch to add that extra layer.
Kind of a little bit of a lasagna method there.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They have a lasagna bed going on over here, actually, and they haven't added the green yet. So this is their lasagna bed.
Oh, all right. Cool. Oh, we had one more question here about the rotation. Of course, with the perennial crops, do you use any successional planting or anything for like your fruit crops, or have those just always been in the same beds?
Are you talking about like the blueberries?
Right. Yeah. They were just asking if you've done any
fruit. No, we do not do a rotation with the blueberries. They stay in the same bed.
And hopefully with rabbit eyes, they're a fairly long live crop. So, they may be live and productive there for a couple decades or something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a really good kind of closing question for you, because we are right at 10:30. So tell us, how long have y'all been working in this demonstration garden? How many years of work are we seeing the beautiful results of right now?
Well, this garden was established, the DVG was established in 1993.
So some form of this has been here since the 90s.
Close to 30 years worth of master gardener work there.
Mm-hmm.
In 2013, MGNA DVG received an International Master Gardener Award for the work here at the demonstration garden.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty neat. You've already been recognized as an international winner. That's cool. We have a few of those around here as well. All right, we are officially at 10:30, and we are so grateful to Taylor and Rhonda and Susan for giving us a fabulous tour of the Grow More, Give More garden at the Huntsville Botanic Garden. It was such a treat to get to visit with you all today.
Thank you, Natalie, and thank you, Susan and Ron.
We were excited to kind of switch gears and move back to the great state of Tennessee, and we are going to touch base with our folks right here in the Cheekwood Botanic Gardens for the second half of our program. Spotlight video to Rachel and Anna and David Cook and some great folks here at Cheekwood.
And we have Mr. David Cook and Miss Becky Fox Matthews to start. And we also have some other great Davidson County Master Gardeners here with us for a little bit later. And I do want to say we will be monitoring the chat and we will ask those questions at the end. So if you have questions, put those again in the Q&A. Put things in the chat, but we will save those till the end and get through as many as we can. So, Mr. David.
Good morning, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be at Cheekwood, and I can't believe I'm actually getting paid to sit out here on a beautiful day. We had a terrible storm the other day come through Tennessee, Alabama, and you can see probably behind us, and if you couldn't see behind our camera lady over there are thousands and thousands of plants in bloom, mainly tulips, daffodils, and hyacinths, and little pansies. It is a beautiful morning. There's no wind, so it's not going to interfere with the microphone and the sound. Again, I'm David Cook, Extension Agent for Davidson County, and I have in the past done several programs for Cheekwood staff here. And if you could see the crowds here already this morning, the grounds, it looked like ants crawling from everywhere. If you can see it from above, there are just hundreds and hundreds of people here that have arrived early, and it's a cool morning. But it's a bright, sunny morning. And I've been fortunate in my past years to have worked with several programs here. And I think today I'm actually going to join. I've got to do that. I have this feeling about coming out here and not joining being a member. I'm here with Becky Fox Matthews, one of our master gardeners. And Becky is a daffodil lady expert. You know, an expert may not be the right term. I could say a specialist, whatever you want to say. Extraordinary.
Hobby gone wild.
Okay, so Becky, let me ask you a few questions. We are sitting among a background of just beautiful daffodils. These are enormous. And daffodils is something everybody could plant, but Cheekwood really promotes, it looks like a lot of daffodils. How many daffodils do you think they have planted here this spring?
I think I heard about 30,000.
30,000. And
That's a huge number.
And this takes volunteers, doesn't it? A lot of volunteers. You know, to run a facility like this, an association, you could not hire a large enough staff. Now, Cheekwood has a large staff, but this is a great opportunity for, you could be a friend of Cheekwood, or you could be a master gardener from our county. If you want to probably come in from another county, you could volunteer here. They're not going to turn a volunteer away. Well, I know in the brochure, it's reading about up front when we came in, at the front of Botanic Hall. We're behind Botanic Hall. They have a lot of good literature here about Cheekwood. And this is the color garden, I guess, we're sitting in.
Yeah, there are daffodils all over the property, though. There's a Basham daffodil fields that they're planting varieties in mass numbers, and that's a great photo op to come with your kids and sit down under daffodils and take some selfies or take some family portraits. But there are a lot of daffodils in the children's garden. There's some in the wildflower garden, the Howe Wildflower Garden. They're just all over the property.
Okay, and I know tulips too. there are over close to over 100,000 individual tulip bulbs planted. I can't even begin to count the number of other flowering plants they have. So, what is your association with Cheekwood? Have you volunteered here for a number of years?
I have, and I've done various projects. One of the things I've done is take docents on an introductory walk through the daffodil collection here, so that we can help educate them about the daffodils. And then one of the other things I've done is to recommend varieties for them to plant and help them to try to kind of ferret out some of the names of some that are in the collections that have gotten mixed up. So we've worked with Cheekwood in one different wonder of ways to help them to advance their daffodil collection, and they will be continuing to add to that. And one of the things the daffodils did come back every year too. So they're
I like the tulips are kind of treated as an annual plant here. Talking to people are very kind of upset to know that these being a tulip here, we don't have enough really cold weather so they can be considered a perennial. So unfortunately, tulips are kind of dug up, but they're not wasted. They're sometimes they're composted. So they come back and maybe come back as a daffodil. You never know. So I want to thank you for visiting us this morning. Such a beautiful morning, and have a great opportunity to view all these beautiful daffodils.
Yeah, everybody should come and see them.
Hey, I've got another guest here, a lady I've known for a number of years. The older you get, you've known your friends for a number of years, so you got to say that. This is Doris Weekly.
Hi, David.
It's good to see you again. Doris, tell me your involvement in the past and how you got associated with Cheekwood.
I started volunteering for Cheekwood before I took the Master Gardening class. The first year that the propagating greenhouse was open, I was their first volunteer.
Whoa, see that? First volunteer.
In the
Wasn't even a master
greenhouse,
gardener.
in the greenhouse, not as a master gardener.
Okay.
And then I took the Master Gardening class, and then I took a sabbatical so I could be president of the Master Gardening class and develop the Junior Gardening program. And then I came back with, Tahula was here the first time, and I did the children's garden tours. And now I volunteer in the greenhouse again, which I love.
Okay, it seems like once you get involved with Cheekwood, you cannot turn away and say, I cannot be involved in Cheekwood. Cheekwood is just a beautiful place. Maybe later on after this interview, we could pan this camera around because people could see what we see.
It's beautiful.
And you can't see it all just sitting in one place. You've got to walk, so it's a big area. There are a lot of youth opportunities here for parents to bring youth out there. Cheekwood?
Yes, they have the Tuesday for Tots, and then they expanded it once the children's garden came in. But they have not taken up the school kids' tours of the garden yet. Can't do that until they're
COVID
free.
has put a hamper on things. But you know what?
Right.
The silver lining behind this COVID pandemic is that it's brought more people and more people out to areas like this. This is such a spectacular place to be.
Well, when I first moved back to Nashville, I did my Cheekwood membership, and I came over here every day to do my daily walk.
Every day.
Every day to do my daily walk, and I don't live that far. But then when the propagating greenhouse opened up is when I really got involved in volunteering. And I've done different things over here, but
because I imagine there's a lot of areas to volunteer at Cheekwood. I mean, there's some of our master gardeners help out with tours. One of our master gardeners, Patty Waller, I know is involved in
the docent in the museum.
The museum, working in the mansion there.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that many years ago, this was a private residence, the Cheek family. And I think they would be utterly proud to know what has continued into such a beautiful town.
Right. I think my first time that I was ever at Cheekwood was when they had the Christmas trees in the mansion in 1968 when I brought, or maybe it was 1970 when I brought my kids over in a stroller.
Wow. See, I graduated in 69 from high school. And I can still remember that, even though I was involved in the 60s. But Cheekwood has been involved in this for so many years. And I think what I've read is that an annual basis of attendance is over 280,000 people come here.
Yes, yes.
So I think today we might reach that number because it's a beautiful day and everybody has come out. Well, thank you, Doris, for being here. And I know Cheekwood thanks you for all the work you've done in volunteering. And I think I might have another guest here I want to bring in.
Okay, thanks, David.
Okay, thank you. And I think when this is all over, I'm gonna tour some of these 55 acres around here.
Great. Do you need a card? I've got two reservations.
Yes. Okay.
I've got
Well,
two
I'm gonna be a
reservations.
member. Sure.
Yeah,
Come on in. Come on in here.
I'm glad we didn't, hey, David. I'm
Well,
glad we
hello
didn't
there.
fill this up with water.
Yeah. Come on in here.
Okay. You can introduce yourself to this. You can take your mask off too.
I can.
Yeah, we're far enough apart. Go
Can I,
ahead.
Andy?
Yeah, you can take that off. I heard that mask makes everybody look 10 years younger. So that's why some people will not want to take their mask off.
Okay, well, I'll take that.
Okay.
My name is Mary Weber. I am the Director of Horticulture here at Cheekwood. I have been in this current position a little over 3 years now, but I am a career horticulturist, having spent my entire career here in Nashville. So I'm very fortunate.
So I think this is a type of job. This is almost like a lifestyle. I mean, we call it a career, your profession. It's what you do. It's a job. But coming to work here, it's not like coming to work in an office building, is it?
Oh, I'm so fortunate. And, you know, it's interesting you say that because my parents, while I was going through college, my early years, they couldn't imagine me being sitting at a desk. So this is, I think they are just excited as I was to enjoy and be able to do what I love to do, which is horticulture.
Yeah. Can you give me a little background on Cheekwood and how it came to be?
Oh, gosh, the history behind Cheekwood is fascinating. And we do have a new book out that goes through, has some lovely pictures as well. Cheekwood, back in 1929 and right during the early years of the Depression, the Cheek family came here, and they were in the grocery or the Maxwell House coffee business.
Oh.
And they built this home, and Mabel and Cheek Senior, they traveled the world to outfit the house. And then it was handed over, you know, to the daughter Holden. She lives here in her family for a while, but grew up out here. I'm not quite the one to tell you more about the history of Cheekwood, other than we were a 55-acre estate. And you know, as far as horticulturally, I think we've got a national collection of dogwood, cornice, and some accredited gardens. But
well, you know, when you come here and you drive in, you park, and you really get even a glimpse of really the grounds here. Then you walk up the road just a few feet, and you see this beautiful botanic hall. But this is also an art center too. There's programs people can't see, but there's some beautiful, looks like Dutch windmills, and we can hear. I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but I hear music playing in the background too.
yes, and one of the things you just touched on is we have various seasonal displays, and this year, right in the middle of blooms, obviously. I hope you're enjoying the 150,000 plus bulbs we have installed out here. So this year we brought Holland to Cheekwood, and each year we have a theme. And like I said, that was this year's theme. And we start the planning stages very early on. We're already working on next year's displays. And so that is what we have this year, the windmills and the broad bands of colors of tulips planted in the color garden. But what's also very exciting at this time of the year is, you know, all the magnolias that are blooming, the deciduous magnolias. They're fascinating. They're beautiful.
A lot of people think of just big southern magnolia, and it puts on a later big old bloom, but there's so many varieties of magnolia. You just got to walk up and bury your face right into those blooms. They are putting on a show.
They are lovely. Like I said, they are stunning this year. And our cercis, all of our red buds are really showing out this year, but the magnolias have especially been beautiful this year.
Well, spring arrived. It seemed like spring arrived really early in the Davis County, Nashville area. And I was just really afraid that all these plants we'd be hit by hard frost. In June, we get that. And I looked at the future weather forecast, and coldest weather I see in the next couple of weeks is maybe 37 degrees. That's not going to hurt any of these plants.
Not at all. You know, we had a little bit of a cold snap early where we covered up some of the violas and pansies. But the bulbs, I don't think that degree will not hurt what's already up. No.
How long will these plants actually be in bloom so that the public wants to come out here? They are going to go down eventually.
They are. Blooms, our festival actually ends on April 11th, I believe. And at that point, we will immediately start flipping our beds. So I think this weekend is our peak weekend as far as the tulips. They will start fading. Our daffodils, our narcissus, are usually our early bloomers. And but like I said, things were a little bit later this year, later spring a little bit. So we're really now showing, like you said, seeing a lot of good color. The hyacinths are starting to fade a little bit. So I think you've got about another 2 weeks. Now, the narcissus here, we'll probably start seeing them fading in a week or so. The interesting thing about our displays is we will immediately, after the 11th, start flipping beds for our summer color.
You know, I get a lot of questions about when you put these beds. People want to know what happens to all these beautiful flowers.
Well,
give me some bad news.
No, we compost them. They come back into our soil and our beds in some capacity. We do compost, yes.
It makes these beds sustainable. So this pretty daffodil gets composted, maybe part of a tulip next year.
It could be.
So that's how you could.
We have some volunteers. That's true. We can patent that.
So I just can't imagine when you talk about 100,000 bulbs. It's not machinery that does this, right?
Oh no,
it
is with what we call a ori.
Yeah.
And we have most of the team. We are a team of 15 gardeners, and while the gardeners have gardens they are responsible for, we all come together to put in the display here in the color garden area. So it takes us about 8 to 10 weeks to install 150,000 bulbs.
Okay. Now, are you always looking for more volunteers? Is that
always.
Just a constant?
Yes. Our volunteer coordinator, she's done a fabulous job. We have a great group of very garden savvy volunteers that help us. So you're exactly right. We've got a great group of volunteers that help us in the garden.
So it'd be good to have a volunteer that has a little bit of background in horticulture. We try to send as many master gardens as we can. Mm-hmm. And I think just coming here one day volunteering, you'd get hooked. And plus, it's a great opportunity for someone to learn. Because if someone has never put a bulb in the ground, there are certain depths you have to plant, for a certain variety of bulbs.
There are, and some soils are easier than others to get that 4 to 6 inches. We try to do 6 inches, but again, very helpful, and they catch on very quickly. So yes, we're looking forward to our next set to help flip the beds and get them ready for summer.
Very good. The other programs they do here, there's of course this is a family-oriented type botanical garden, I call it. Mm-hmm. And listening to people coming in and know this, they're looking at their tickets going, when do I go to is there an art show in the big house up there in the mansion?
Yes, and that, our mission statement tries to marry the museum and the gardens, horticulture and art together as best we can in some of our displays and what artwork we have in the garden. So yes, right now we have an impressionism type display. Brandy may be able to tell me a little bit more about that, but yes, the museum or the mansion typically does have some artwork on display as well. Absolutely.
Is this Brandy?
Yes.
Brandy, come over here real quick. We're going to get as many guests in as we can, and you'll have to let me know when we have to shut this off. I'm a long talker. Yeah. I don't run out of words.
So Rachel's got the feed of the tulips, everything going for us. She's kind of showing what y'all been talking about as you've been going around the windmills and everything. So, Rachel, if there's anything you'd like to add from over there, go ahead. Then we can finish up over here.
Okay. So you can see here they have some larger windmills mixed in with some smaller ones. And you can see here the colors are in blocks. So there's large mass plantings of one certain color, and then it fades to another. So this is a lot of tulips, and there are some that have not bloomed out yet. So if you haven't been here yet, I would say come next week, and they should still be beautiful and at peak bloom.
Thanks so much, Rachel. We can bounce it back to David in the studio.
Okay, let's bring in a real quick guest here. And because there's a lot more than just flowers here too, aren't there? Now, who is this kid we have? We've never met.
Hi, Brandy Metters.
Okay, Brandy, you can take your mask off. And
If you guys would spread out before you do that, or
yeah, I'll tell you
put yours
what.
back on there, one of the two.
Okay, and tell me what goes on beside the plants and flowers here.
So right now we do have an Impressionist art exhibition in the mansion, and we also have a new wellness program, Wellness 360, which is part of it encompasses Cheekwood and Bloom sites of Bloom. But right now our gardens are at peak. So we did extend our hours to 7 p.m. through April 6th. Tickets are required to be purchased in advance due to capacity limits. So yeah, it's a great time to come out and enjoy some art, gardens, rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit with wellness activities. So yeah.
Because most people here at Cheekwood, what they're going to say is Botanical Gardens, but it is the official name. Is it Art in Botanical? How do you? Has Cheekwood got a new name, or is it? We want to include art.
I think it's Cheekwood Estate and Gardens.
Okay, so you can see some spectacular plants in bloom with spectacular works of art. And then the grounds will encompass the special artists you invite in. I came in here and used those big bug display, and I could not talk enough about that. Because I have a background in entomology. I just wanted to hug all these big sculptures. They're just beautiful, fantastic. So there's a lot to see at Cheekwood. Don't expect to see it in a day, can you? You need to be a member here.
Too, so.
And I'm going to join after this interview because I said I just got to come back and see more and take all this in, because this is a treasure chest right here.
It is, and we've got over 14 gardens. Whether it's a dogwood, boxwood garden, or Japanese garden, we've just got some beautiful gardens to walk through. If you have interest,
someone's going to need one of these right here. It's called a map, because you will not know where you're going, because I couldn't begin to count the number of big mature trees you have here. And I see that they have the common botanical names on them too. So if people are interested in trees alone, and when they're leafed out, people have a hard time identifying trees just by looking at bark. But if you have one of these maps, you got to carry a map, because this 50-something acres here.
It is 55 acres, and our arboretum program has grown tremendously. We've got over 2,100 accession trees. So yes, we would love to invite you.
So you don't do anything on a small scale. It's all big. It's a beautiful day, and a little leery about some more stormy weather coming into the Nashville area. I don't know if y'all just even sleep at night when you watch the weather forecast, but I know this weekend people will still come out, and I hope this weather kind of passes us by again, because Cheekwood is a treasure chest of color and beauty out here, and it will be here for a long, long time.
We hope to. Thank you, David.
We have some chat questions, if that's okay with you ladies, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We have one.
Lots of chat.
Yeah. So we have one that asked, how do you keep the voles from eating your tulips?
Well, we do treat most of our beds with deer repellent.
Okay.
Liquid fence.
So if someone is sitting on here in the evening, I've heard people say you can watch the deer come out.
Yes.
Now, you can't keep deer from eating everything. But are there like little rodents, like moles and all that? Do you have a problem with moles or voles coming in at all?
We do have, yes, but not terribly so. We do. The deer and the turkey are pretty rampant.
Okay. Where these voles are planted, I can see maybe it's not easy access for voles, but down on the grounds there, it's as many as you plant, you can afford to lose a few, right? Okay. Okay.
And then we had questions just about the membership and about costs and like the benefits of membership. Can you just speak on that briefly, please?
Yeah, we have different levels, and starting out, they're pretty affordable, and you can add guests or you have family memberships. And I mean, it's amazing. It pays for itself. I did 2 visits. So yeah, and we have 4 different seasons that we do good things for. We have different art exhibitions. We have one coming up this summer, Nature Path. So it'll be like sculptures made out of Legos throughout the gardens. But yeah, it's amazing for families or even just singles, or, anyone could enjoy Cheekwood. And it's really good to enjoy the benefits of our wellness program, which has started on, it goes through October. We do classes on Sundays and Wednesdays. And it's discounted for our members. So that's one great benefit of doing this program.
Very cool. Thank you. Yeah, I've seen people of all ages here today enjoying the tulips behind me. So yeah, that's awesome. So I think that's all the open ones that I see right now. And we are right on time exactly. So thank you, ladies, so much for your time. And thank you, David.
Thank you. And you'll come out here and serve all the vitamin D you want because it's free.
Yeah.
Awesome. You're awesome, David.
Awesome.
Sorry, Brandy.
You made that
I
stuff
didn't
up
know what
about
kind of
Cheekwood
questions.
after a while.
I was saying questions all day long. The other stuff I don't know. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Hey, David.
All right. Well, as we're winding up here, we are just a couple minutes away from ending, and we don't know if you all know this, but we want to give a special shout out to David Cook. He is this month finishing up his career in extension, and I honestly can't imagine extension without David. And so we just want, while we have you here live on camera, we just wanted to say thank you so much for how much you've invested in extension, in the Master Gardener program. You have definitely been, a help to me as I began my career here, and a huge impact on literally hundreds and thousands of volunteers
Thank you.
throughout the last few years.
It's always good to be live on camera. I don't, 20 years from now, then you go, well, it was live on camera then. But it's always to wake up, be live on camera. So even on my career, we're going to retirement, but my love and passion for plants and open master gardens that will never go into retirement. So I will have plenty to do. I don't like being bored, and I've never been bored with my career as extension. So it's been a great opportunity, and it will still continue to be an opportunity. So, yeah.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, lady.
You can volunteer out here.
We look forward to continuing to have you as a volunteer in the Tennessee Extension Master Gardener program, David.
We'll continue, guaranteed to continue.
If you have any problems with insects, he's your person.
Right. I'll keep that in mind.
Will be available.
Yeah.
Very good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we are just about at 11 o'clock, and that means that we are closing up for today. We want to especially thank Taylor and Rhonda and Susan for a wonderful tour down in Huntsville. Thanks so much. That was so much fun, and we will return the favor, Alabama Master Gardeners, anytime. We'd love to show you some great Tennessee locations. And thanks to Mary and to Brandy and to Becky and Doris, and especially David for being here with us today. We are so excited that this is our second Friday Focus of the year, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next few months. Have a great weekend, and go see some gardens this weekend.
Definitely.
Have a great day. Let's see you soon.